continuing our lessons from 66. 66 books in the Bible, loads of lessons we can learn from it. And we've just started delving into the Old Testament books a bit, because there's some great messages coming through from there. And a lot of them do point to Christ. They point to our need for a Saviour, and we can learn so many lessons from them. Creation last week and the fall of man. This week, the flood. Noah and the flood. One of the best known stories in the Bible. The next slide kind of tells us a bit about it, I think. Noah, I'm flooding it. I thought that was funny. Did you think that was funny? I thought that was funny when this is the sort of research I do for my sermon, so I like typing away, Googling Noah, and this sort of stuff comes up. I thought that was quite good anyway. You can tell. Yeah, anyway. So what we're going to do today is, in the next sort of 20 minutes or so, is we're going to do 4 things. We're going to go through the account of Genesis, and we're going to ask, is it believable? Is it actually, can we believe that this happened? We're going to look at faith, and putting our faith in God, sin, and salvation, and the return of Jesus. We're going to do that in 20 minutes. It's going to be good. So, first of all, the account, if we put this up, Genesis chapter 6, and I'm going to read some of it. It says, "The Lord saw how great man's wickedness on the earth had become, and that every inclination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil at the time. The Lord was grieved that he had made man on the earth, and his heart was filled with pain. So the Lord said, I will wipe mankind, whom I have created from the face of the earth, men and animals and creatures that move along the ground, and birds of the air, for I am grieved that I have made them. But Noah found favour in the eyes of the Lord." This is the account of Noah. Noah was a man of righteous. Noah was a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time, and he walked with God. I love that. He walked with God. He had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. If I had 3 sons, Shem is quite a cool name. Japheth is quite a cool name. But Ham, really, Noah? I'm just thinking. I'm just saying the things that people must think. Do you think that when you read that? Why would you call your son Ham? Anyway, just a thought. Now the earth was corrupt in God's sight and was full of violence. Kind of, not a lot has changed there. God saw how corrupt the earth had become, for all the people on earth had corrupted their ways. So God said to Noah, I'm going to put an end to all people, for the earth is filled with violence because of them. I am surely going to destroy them, both them and the earth. So make yourself an ark of cypress wood, make rooms in it and coat it with pitch inside and out. This is how you are to build it. The ark is to be 450 feet long. Noah, if you don't understand the dimensions, that's 10 times as long as Church and the Roundabout. 75 feet wide, that's 3 times the width here, and 45 feet high. Make a roof for it and finish the ark to within 18 inches of the top. Put a door in the side of the ark and make lower, middle and upper decks. I am going to bring flood waters on the earth to destroy all life under the heavens. Every creature that has the breath of life in it, everything on the earth will perish. But I will establish my covenant with you, and you will enter the ark, you and your sons and your wife and your sons' wives with you. You are going to bring into the ark 2 of all living creatures, male and female, to keep them alive with you. We'll leave it there. So it's quite a challenging read, actually, because as we hear it, as people read it, the thoughts are kind of racing through our heads. How could God do that to the earth? And we're going to touch on that this is where sin and salvation comes into it. So hold that thought. I'm going to do it in pretty much an order here. First of all, the account of it, if we go on to the next picture, just the size of the ark. I've compared it to the size of the church, but if you think more along the lines of red funnel, it's one 1.5 sizes the length of the red funnel ferry. Red funnels are quite big nowadays. I think the red funnel ferry, I think you can get about 250 cars on it, you know, and it dwarfs the red funnel. And actually that ark in picture comes, of course, it's a real-life, real-size ark from the US of A, Kentucky. This is the Ark Museum. Of course, they're going to build it the real size, the actual size as it was. Which, if you ever go to Kentucky, take a look. I've never been there, but I'm sure it's kind of an eye-opener to see how big it really must have been. So there we go there. And also a few thoughts about the next slide. This is how my thought patterns go anyway. So Noah started building this ark, and he ordered in. He ordered in all the heavy plants and big cranes to build it. Noah, he didn't have that sort of stuff, did he? It was a big job. It was a job of faith. And the first thing we have to ask is, we're reading this stuff. Is this stuff believable? Well, I went on a journey, aged through the 20, about 25, where I believed in Jesus as my saviour. I hadn't really thought much about whether the accounts in Genesis were believable or not. I did a dissertation about creation and evolution. Could it be believable from a scientific point of view? To cut a long story short, I actually discovered that actually creation and the flood and everything that's written in the Bible around that sort of thing is a creditable scientific theory. I'm not going to stand here and try and force you to believe it, but what I did come up with is a credible scientific theory, is a big weight of scientific evidence which will support it. That made me confident in my faith. That's what it did for me. I'll put it in the notes. Hopefully you've got the notes. I hope. Have you got the notes? Oh, please have the notes, because you have to have the notes, because Jamie wants you to have the notes. Me and Jamie sat down. I said, Jamie, can you proofread my notes for me, please? And he goes, yeah. And I said, 2 hours later, I said, I just wanted them proofread. But we were going through it, and he was saying, well, what do you mean by this? How's this coming over? And it's very useful. So they're probably better this week than they ever have been. And there's also some nice colouring and word searching to do as well. You have to have the notes. And there's lots of things you can look up when you go away too. So there's is it believable? That's what we're on. Well, as a science teacher, as my trade, I'm always trying to find logical explanations for the things that I observe. And actually, the observed fossil record, the fossil records that you observe anywhere in any books, one of the best explanations for it is a worldwide flood. One of the best explanations for the extinction of dinosaurs. It's funny when people say, are you a Christian? I say, yeah. I say, oh, Christians don't believe in dinosaurs. Of course Christians believe in dinosaurs. The fossils prove it, you see. I'm looking for logical proof. But one of the best explanations for the dinosaurs being extinct is a worldwide flood and the changing conditions which would have been after it. I'm not going to preach science for too long. I'm just saying it's believable. One of the best explanations, you read in the Bible, Noah and his mates lived for 900 years. Yeah, right, Bible. Yeah, well, the conditions before the flood, there's a canopy of water above which came down during the flood. It would have made that possible. Because it would have done a lot more than the ozone, and it would have prevented the rays which are thought to cause ageing in people. So there is scientific evidence behind our belief. We don't have to throw away our intellect to believe the Bible. And that's good news. That is good news. I'm going to stop there, but if you want to talk to me, I've done a dissertation on it. I love talking about this thing. But I want to talk about other things too. Faith. Faith. This is the other thing. We have this discussion at the dinner table. It's raining a bit today. If God said to you today, build an ark, your heart would just drop. Oh, really? Just imagine poor old Noah, God saying to him, it probably never rained because of my theories about the atmospheric conditions. It probably never rained, and he was known to live in a landlocked area. And God says, build an ark, even bigger than the red funnel. That's what God said in the Isle of Wight version. Build an ark, even bigger than the red funnel. And Noah, I wonder what Noah must say is, yeah, but it hasn't rained, and there's no water anywhere near us. And what are people going to say? What are people going to say when he built that? You know, it's just lucky for Noah that Facebook wasn't around at the time. There would be loads of memes about him. It's like that crazy guy building the ark there. It's like, goodness knows what people would say. We had the discussion on the dinner table. If Noah started building an ark today, what would we say? I have to admit it, I would probably have a bit of a good old laugh in the air, what an idiot. You know, that's the natural thing that people would say. Probably until you talk to him, why are you building this, mate? Because, and if you probably sat down and talked to him, you would realise probably very quickly, because he would be that confident that God had told him to do it. Oh my goodness, why did God tell you to do it? Because there's going to be a flood. Do you want to come in? I think I might just come in. You know, if you stop and listen to someone who's got a message of salvation, of being saved, actually, it can be a case of, yeah, I think I need to join you, I see what you're saying. So faith is really important. Every prayer we make is a prayer of faith. Everything we do for God is faith. Every time we come to church, we come because of our faith in Him. And going back to the next thing, sin and salvation. You see, we say, why? Why did God say, I'm going to send a flood, everything I created I'm going to wipe out, apart from what's in the ark? Why? Why? Isn't God a bit horrible to say that? Isn't that a bit nasty of God? I don't know if that comes into any of your minds, but it's come into my mind, and it comes into a lot of people's minds who talk to me about God. They say, why would God do that? Why would an all-loving God do that? What I think none of us really understand, and I know that I don't really get it, is the gravity of sin. You know, it's like, yeah, just do a few things wrong here, a few things wrong there. We don't realise how God sees it. We don't realise how God sees things that are done wrong, said wrong, thought wrong. It's big for God, because He is all perfect. He is absolute light. He is 100% pure love, pure goodness. There is no sin in Him. So where there is sin, there's going to be judgment. It matters to God. Sin matters. And I know we live in a world where it doesn't, unless it's really bad. But it matters to God. Every little sin matters to God. And this is why God, He sent the ark. He sent Noah to build the ark, and He said, go in that ark because I'm going to make a fresh start. It was simply judgment. And this is where it's the good news for us now. This is where we've got good news. God still has to judge sin. Nothing's changed there. Nothing's changed there. But look what He did about it, out of love. He sent His Son Jesus to die on the cross, to take away every sin. Jesus took the punishment for every sin. And you look, God had to wipe out the whole world because of sin. And yet, there was a lot of sin after that. And there's a lot of sin at the moment. And you think Jesus, on the cross, took every single sin. It's big in God's eyes, and Jesus took it. Now, what this is doing for me is it's making me think, wow, Jesus, what you did is a bit more, I hate to use the word impressive, than maybe I thought before. Dying on the cross is amazing anyway, but if we think, behold the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world. He takes away the sin. How did he took away all the sin. He died on the cross for all the sin of the whole world, every last sin. And He took that punishment. I can't think what that must have been. It is big, big, big. And all it does for me is it says that salvation through the cross of Jesus is good news. I used to really struggle when I first became a Christian. For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, so that anyone who believes in him shall not perish, but shall have everlasting life. I used to really struggle. How can a God of love send all those people to hell? Apart from the ones who are trusting him. I thought, how can that happen? But actually, when we realise the gravity of sin, when we realise what it actually means to God, then it kind of turns that around. Hang on, I've sinned too. Hang on, I'm not worthy of God. Hang on, I need to be saved. And then I get saved and I put my trust in Jesus and I'm saved. It's like I've gone in the ark. And then I'm thinking, I'm in the ark. That's nice for me. What about all my mates? What about my family? What about my friends? What about my work colleagues? What about them? I'd like them to come in the ark too. That's why when we become a Christian, we really understand what it means to be a Christian. Then we don't have to do an evangelism course. We want our friends, we want our families to come in to that place of salvation. We want it to happen. And that's why it is so important. I just want to put 2 Peter chapter 2 up on the screen. It says, if God did not spare the ancient world when he brought the flood on it, some godly people, but protected Noah, a preacher of righteousness, and 7 others. And it goes on about Sodom and Gomorrah as well, and rescuing Lot. And then verse 9, it says, if this is so, then the Lord knows how to rescue godly men from trials and to hold the unrighteous for the day of judgment while continuing their punishment. You see, there is a day of judgment coming when God will judge. And as Christians, we put our trust in Jesus. We know our faith is in Jesus, that he's taken away our sins. And when it comes to our judgment, that's what's going to happen. He said, well, you haven't got any sin because I've taken it away. That's the good news of the Bible. That's the good news of the Bible. And there is a whole section about Jesus' return, which I'll just read out. I won't go into it, but Matthew chapter 24, verse 37. You see, it paints a picture as well of when Jesus returns to this earth. Jesus said, as it was in the days of Noah, so he's referring to Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. For in the days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day Noah entered the ark. In other words, things were going on as normal. And they knew nothing about what would happen until the flood came and took them all away. Again, as Christians, it's up to us to show people that God is going to come back, that they do need to, that there is a decision to be made. And we can do that just by what we say, by what we don't say, by how we act, by being filled with the Spirit, just by our everyday living. This is how it will be at the coming of the Son of Man, at the coming of the Son of Man. So, just to summarise really, today, I would say the account is believable. The account shows the gravity of sin. It shows that wherever there is sin, God's doing something about it. He's giving us a way out. He's giving us a way to be saved from judgment, because where there's sin, there's judgment. He's giving us a way out, and I do believe that it's good news that we're not going to be judged. And that good news is for sharing. That good news is to share in the best possible way we can. Not ramming it down people's throats because people won't respond to that either, but just taking every opportunity that God gives us. Making the most of every opportunity to share this urgent message, and I would say it's an urgent message of good news with our families, with our friends, with our work colleagues, with our neighbours, in every way that we can. So I'm going to pray now so I can switch off.